Ladies and gentlemen, at the start of every single month, I do a THORnews fundraiser to keep me up and running. And this month, we've got a coronavirus preparation total going on. And I've only got $752 left to raise with 2.5 days to go. So if you'd like to contribute, you'll be greatly appreciated. And now, on to the news. Shit is crazy, man. Like, there's a story here about how a coronavirus patient had been tested for the coronavirus and then released, and then they got the results back, and the results were positive. And then reports came in that we had a second death in Washington as the coronavirus had spread through an old folks' home, combined with news of New York's first official coronavirus case. A lady who wandered through the streets and then got on the subway and then went to the hospital, and yeah, she was positive. And it was like right around that news, the futures, which had been down about 1%, shot up to positive 3.2%. So yeah, it's a weird world, bro. So yesterday we were at 66 cases, and today we're at 77 cases. And it's my belief in about a week, when everybody gets the tests, we're going to see thousands of cases. Because for whatever reason, the United States of America hasn't been able to properly test in the majority of places for 7 weeks since the outbreak of the coronavirus. You can make up your own conspiracy theory or just go Occam's razor, pure incompetence, however you want to, dude. It's a free country. No, YouTube's buyer beware, but it's free, so that's confusing. So we're now at about 80,000 reported cases, 89,000, 3,039 deaths, and this thing seems to be spreading fast. Yeah, the U.S. is now up to 84 cases, man. And I point this out because a few days ago, Japan shut down all of its school and kind of put everybody in lockdown when they got up to 200 cases and 7 deaths. And so that's 128 million people combined with everybody else on lockdown. It's about 928 million people on Earth, which is over 10% of the population. And I'm wondering when they would do the first lockdown. And I got my answer today, I guess, but it was just the lockdown of the nursing home. I guess that's the PC version of old folks home. Coronavirus is on lockdown, but that doesn't count. I'm talking about when they put states or cities or towns on lockdown. And this will definitely be a super interesting week. If January and February weren't interesting enough for you, rest assured, March is going to be wild. We're only 2 months into this year. But yeah, technically, it's been on the loose in Washington State for up to 6 weeks. It's looking more and more likely like we won't be able to contain this the way China did. And during times like these, people will make dumb comparisons, like comparing this to the flu. The flu only has like a 0.01 kill rate. This has a 2% kill rate. And then this person here, I guess, said, imagine if the media reported on the climate crisis like it does on the coronavirus. Headline news every day, constantly re-releasing updated death toll, analyzing whether world leaders are doing enough, most importantly, making public believe this is something to take seriously. And I thought, well, imagine if scientists offered a coronavirus tax as the be-all, end-all solution. All right. But look, I've just tried to lay out for you. Pretty much anytime you've had a major breakout, which is like China, Iran, Italy, they've put people in lockdown. So that will probably come, I would guess at this point, Washington or California could be one of the first places to experience it. And you don't get a whole lot of notice when it happens. Danny Park, one message I'm not seeing communicated to the public enough in the U.S., case counts are about to rise dramatically this week, and it'll have nothing to do with the actual changes in the disease spread. It's just that we're finally testing as we should have been. We're turning the lights on, and the 10-year Treasury just hit below 1.1%. That means it yields like 1.1% of in returned investment. which means that it's a safe haven, which means people are running from gold and Bitcoin and stocks into treasuries. So make of that what you will. Today, federal officials in the Trump administration reiterated that the public's sort of overreacting to the current threat. And, that's, if we lose 2% of Americans this year, that's over 1 million people. And the same person is also pointing out the 1918 Spanish flu, the U.S. Surgeon General Rupert Blue said, hey, dude, there's no cause for alarm if precautions are observed. The ultimate death toll worldwide, 40 million to 50 million, and possibly as high as 100 million. I've been telling y'all that the stock markets were going to crash in 2020 since September of 2019. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're still going down and will continue to go down, as this will be a monthly event that shows us all the weaknesses we have in not only our government, but our society and capitalism. The Boot League guy dropped it on the race, and somebody said, hey, no matter who you support, someone in their 70s will continue to be our next president. I was like, yeah, I don't know. Have you guys not followed the coronavirus very closely? And with Biden, Bernie, and Trump not seeming to take any precautions, just running around in the public, going to rallies and shit, hopping on airplanes, if they get it, it's fatal to people over 70 a lot of the time, like over 25% of the time. So I wouldn't be worrying about an election 8 months from now when we have a pandemic that has been breaking for 6 months and is now officially spreading across the United States of America. Like I had said all through February, it was going to hit us in March, and it is now March. And sometimes people are like, your ego's huge. And I'm like, well, I do a really good job. Jonathan Swan, numerous people, and I'm not saying like you suck or like your friends suck or, everybody else sucks. I'm just saying I do a really good job. That's it. Okay. Numerous people across multiple government agencies have known about this but not disclosed it. The concerns about the Atlanta lab were raised in a conference called Thursday with multiple agencies. Yes, so the government didn't want the CDC or the WHO tests, so they decided they'd make their own tests, and it turns out those tests were contaminated. It's a clusterfunk situation all around. I'll tell you, there are a lot of weird storylines going on now, man. Like, so Egypt, it's watching all the governments react to it. And so Egypt was like, hey, yeah, no, we got no cases. And then, so like a lot of people who have started to come out of Egypt, including Americans, like come up with the coronavirus positive. And so they're like, what? Wait a minute. That's really how it is. Like Egypt has basically said, yeah, we don't have any cases, but there are more cases of people who went to Egypt and then came back positive than there are reported Egyptian cases of people being positive. I think there's a whole lot of saving face. Governments are trying to save face, and I would say they're really more concerned about the economy more than they are the people. And we will see that tenfold as the Federal Reserve and central banks will cut rates and do repo and do all sorts of quantitative easing to protect the markets and corporations. But as far as like how far they will go to make sure that if they're going to lock people down, they get their rent paid and they get food and electricity, it should be even in my opinion, but whatever. And I've told stories about back in the day, was it 2017 when oil was below $46 and like 3 different occurrences, like people would come up to me and be like, oil has to get over $46 or all the markets start to crash. I was like, look, dude, I don't have anything to do with the oil prices. I don't know why you guys are so mad at me. But oil's now at $44, $43. But yeah, no, it was. So I believe they were all big oil guys who trying to explain to me that like the way shit is priced in and that you have a bunch of oil utility companies going out of business if oil is under $46. So, that's another bad sign, man. All the fundamentals pointing to a big crash. Just saying. But yeah, just today, Egypt was like, all right, yeah, we found one person that has it, but like 1,443 others might. We don't know. So they're kind of doing as good as we are. And that's just how crazy it is. When the futures opened, they opened it down negative 400 because all the news has been bad concerning the coronavirus since Friday. And then when you got the news of the second death in the New York case, futures shot into the green. I'd imagine they'd close down because, as I've said before, it'll be spreading to the USA. And how our government will respond to it, I do not know. But I would say if you're giving our government anything over a D- on their response to this for the last 6 or 7 weeks to prepare for this, we totally disagree, buddy. But speaking of Picard of Star Trek, know when to put on a happy face. It's part of adulthood and essential for command. And I, as your planetary defense commander, trying to put on a happy face, but it is crazy, bro. Yeah, 2 Bay Area healthcare workers presumptive positive for coronavirus. And it's like, now that we know it's spreading, have we been taking major precautions to our first care, or our healthcare workers and our first responders who have to go pick the positive people up, or who have to deal with them when they walk in like, hey, I might be positive? I don't know, man. It's a weird. Yeah, the biggest shipping conference in America has been canceled in Long Beach. Twitter told all of its employees that any non-critical business travel was stopped, although they haven't canceled South by Southwest yet, but I'm pretty sure they will. 2 students at Palo Alto schools in California were sent home after district officials learned they might have been exposed to COVID-19 through a parent. And man, I don't get into politics at all, except when it concerns absolute, real, clear, and present danger planetary defense commander stuff. And I gotta say, I find Trump's attitude on this whole thing to be utterly baffling, especially considering the majority of his base is over 50 and over 65, dude. And as we will see with that one old folks home where the breakout has happened, like, you'll lose a lot of people there. And I think, I don't know, I'm just saying it's better to be more cautious than not cautious. And on Friday, he was saying, hey, nobody's died and only 15 people are infected. It's like, yeah, dude, but have you not been checking out the spread rates and how it's going to go? Like, anywho. In Rhode Island, St. Raphael Academy shuts for 2 days after a member of our community tests positive for coronavirus. Armenia closes schools across the country for 1 week to prevent the spread of coronavirus. The country reported its first case earlier today. So they got 1 case and it's like, and we've now up to 84 and 2 deaths. My thing is that, Trump and his whole task force team may overcorrect once they realize it's spreading pretty fast. In France, they shut the Louvre and warned against kissing, as if getting kisses wasn't hard enough in the modern age. 2020 has become a lot like Game of Thrones, and we don't know who will survive. We don't know who will die. But I'm still 100% for everybody working together to get to good things, because it's going to get weird. United Airlines chief executive Munoz tells employees it will likely need to cut additional flights due to decreased demand for coronavirus email. Oh, I read that funny. I'm thinking about cutting my own hair. Should I do a live stream of that? Morocco postpones sporting events and cultural events over fears of coronavirus, according to state-run media. There are no confirmed cases in the country, whereas we have our political guys holding rallies, and we have Super Tuesday tomorrow. Oh, man. And the head who dude tells markets we're going to calm down, even though we need to prepare for a pandemic. I'm like, yeah, that'll work, bro. That'll totally work. You know who especially loves to be told to calm down? Women. Yeah, try it sometime. Just anytime. Just be like, calm down. And then be like, hey, thanks. I appreciate you saying that. But, dude, I would guess somehow a big earthquake's going to get thrown into this mix either between now and May. But that's neither here nor there. Hey, all you conspiracy guys, you can totally run with this. They ran a bunch of tanks through on the rails in Houston today. I remember, asking my stepdad, I was like, why the hell do you still need tanks? He's like, well, if you're holding towns and shit. I was like, oh, okay. All right. And so, did anyone from Washington State attend CPAC 2020? That's a good question. Oh, yeah, and someone in Florida tested positive. Ian broke that. Yeah, did I already show you this? Looks like Florida man got coronavirus. But we were expecting that. All right, I'm obsessed with the story and will continue to cover it as I have been since January 30th because I think it can help save lives. I've recommended you have at least 1 month worth of food, water, medicine, batteries, and shit. I definitely think we have lockdowns coming. I definitely think we will be into the thousands, possibly 10,000s within 1 to 2 weeks in the United States of America. I've been saying that for a month. Anywho, I'll keep you guys posted. And I got like 2.5 days left in my fundraiser. $752 to raise for the total goal. I got an address if you want to send me a letter in the mail. Although the person in Washington, one of them was a UPS guy, and they won't tell us specifically how long coronavirus lasts on surfaces. But I'll risk it. I got a PayPal, a Venmo, a Cash App, a Patron. And if you've watched over 100 of my videos and have never donated, I challenge you to this time. Because, man, I work hard and I do a great job. And I've been doing an exemplary job since December 15th, in my opinion. You can disagree if you want. Anywho, I sincerely, totally, and absolutely appreciate every single person in Asteroid Fight Club. I'm very grateful for y'all. Y'all have been amazing. I definitely need all the prayers I can get, not just so I can avoid or survive the virus if I get it, but one of these days I would like to find a lady friend, fall in love, and have happy good times, man. Absolutely. I deserve some fun. But I definitely want to say thank you to Robert, Jamie, Caleb, Stephen, Henry. Why does my mic keep cutting out? Don't do that. Computer social impact research. JL, you know you're cool. Viking Marine, the Hopi Warrior Princess, may you guys have fun on your travels. Lynn, I love you, girl. Susan, thank you, and thank you. Susan and Lynn were both like, hey, we feel like something is coming. You need to be prepared. And then they helped me get prepared. And then that was before the virus broke out. So, you know, my intuition is good, but sometimes women can have much better intuition. Women are powerful, dude. All right, I was talking about. Thank you to Robert and Cody and Tom, Kenneth, Whimsical, and all y'all out there. I appreciate y'all very, very much. Asteroid Fight Club, let's try and survive. It's going to get weird, though. All right, make good choices. I love y'all. I will talk to y'all soon. God bless everyone. Stay cool. Peace out.